I grew up in a traditional Goan family, and childhood seemed happy in the beginning until I grew up to the age of 8 or 9, and I realized there were problems. Dad had a drinking problem, and there used to be squabbles in the family. And also, I grew up fearing God in not the right way. I had this vague understanding of this God who might be in a bad mood or something like that, or you need to appease him and keep him happy. But it was only in my early 20s when I was working on a cruise ship in the US, and I started questioning my faith, which I had picked up from my parents, and it was not catering to all my needs. A couple of my friends shared with me this wonderful experience they had on one of the ports that they were in. They heard one preacher talking about the love of God and father-son relationship and all that. And this first thing I related to it was my father, because we had a great relationship. I loved my father. He was a great guy, but we never had enough time because my mom separated from him, and that was always a question in my mind. I missed my father. But when I heard there's a loving God and a father, this was new to me. And that took me on a journey of reading and finding out more about God through the Bible, of course. I said, let me peel this mask off my face and let's face life as it is. And I needed help in many areas of my life. I started having a relationship with God, and I thought that would be the end of problems. Things would now fall in place. But it was not so. In those days, I also fell in love with this girl who was a Christian, and we wanted to get married, and everything seemed like it was going in that direction. And then I had not resolved some family issues when my folks came to know that I had decided to get married to this girl. What they said to me was, "You're being very selfish and immature," and I realized that I had gone on a ship job overseas to help the family economically, and when that accusation came towards me, I took it to heart. That led me to kind of choose between my loyalty to my family and my own feelings of love for this woman that I had pledged my love to. And I was also struggling with my faith of understanding God. I was in my journey to understanding God deeper. So all this became sort of a cocktail, and I kind of succumbed to the pressure in my mind, physically. Everything it got too heavy for me to carry. And one fine day I realized I could not just perform anymore. So they had to take me off the ship and get me on a land, and I ended up in a asylum, a mental asylum, where they wanted to talk me through my issue. And in that situation, even the woman that I pledged love to and I was planning to get married to, I realized I could not even go ahead with that decision. When the doctor prescribed me some drugs to calm me down and to get out of that situation, the first thing that came to my mind was just swallow those tablets and finish it. And that's exactly what I did. I don't know what happened then, because I was told later that the ambulance was called, and I was taken to the hospital. And next day afternoon, I was sitting in bed, completely feeling washed out, defeated, even in the area of suicide, complete failure, and I didn't know what to do next. I had lost my faith in God, because if I had faith in God, I would have gone to Him. But I decided to take things in my own hands. And now, in my own hands also, I had come to this point. And so, out of sheer desperation, I went out in search of another job. And I said, I'll start life anew. I'll just begin working. And from that point, for 3 years, I ran away from God. I mean, I lived like God's enemy. I was in the US at that time. I got a land job by then, and it was my birthday, I remember, and I was It was 2 in the morning. I was just sitting on a log of wood, smoking a cigarette, and just feeling very lonely and saying to God. And I found myself saying to God, do you even know I exist? Am I real? And I was actually, it was like a monologue, but I felt God speak to me that day. If earlier I had found Him in the the Bible, I must have known about Jesus and God. It was in a textual manner. But on that day, it was the person of God calling out to me and say, I know you, who you are, and I know all about your life. And for a moment I thought, is it my mind? What is it? But it went on coming to me twice, thrice, and I just sobbed and sobbed till 6 in the morning. And it was all that pent up feeling. I don't know what it was, but it was getting washed out, I know. And that was a new day in my relationship with God. And I knew that my life was never going to be my own again, because the life that I had thrown it away, and God had not allowed it to go to waste. He kind of took it out from the garbage bin where I had thrown it, and He said, I'm going to use it again. God started restoring things back. I got in touch with the same girl who I was supposed to get married. And miraculously, we got in touch over the net, and I ended up getting married to her. And now it's been 12 years since I'm married. Got 4 beautiful children. I have lived every day of my life. I mean, not perfectly, I know that, but knowing that God is real, He cares for me. There is nothing vague in my life anymore. It is established. God loves me. I have a hope and a future. And God is not my enemy. He is there for me always, all the time.